I've had major surgery multiple times on the spine. I have 12 screws, 8 titanium brackets, 4 titanium discs, 2 wires, and electronic device in my spine. The pain didn't subside, and I had some real neuromuscular dysfunction that led to just uncontrolled seizing of the muscles in the upper body and the lower body. Now, granted, I had a lot of pre-existing conditions. I was getting to the point where I was done fighting. It was getting hard. It was getting really disheartening. And then I started this program. I probably restored 85% compared to where I was 5.5 months ago.
First of all, I just want to say thank you so much for actually agreeing to this because I know a lot of time people are not willing to share their experience. And also, but I think if you're really willing to share, there's going to be a lot of people maybe watching or listening to that videos. They will get inspired and actually take some action to change their life. So why don't we get started? Maybe you tell us a little bit more about yourself. So how old are you, what you do, and how long you been having this chronic lower back problem?
My name's Greg Thompson. I'm 51 years old. And about 7 years ago, I had some back pain that led to my first spinal surgery, which was a cervical fusion of 3 vertebrae in the neck. Since then, I've had a lumbar spinal surgery as well as a spinal implant put in. Ever since the first surgery, my body just really was never the same with as far as pain, lack of good movement patterns, and just a lot of pain and muscular dysfunction.
That's tough. What's your worst point before you join a program?
Before I joined the program, this was actually a couple of years before the program. So I had a lumbar fusion in summer of 2023, and that fall, for some reason, the pain didn't subside, and I had some real neuromuscular dysfunction that led to just uncontrolled seizing of the muscles in the upper body and the lower body, and it led to my hospitalization several times. Eventually, I was diagnosed with a little bit of the very beginning of some nerve degeneration in the brain, hence why I have the electronic implant. So that was about the low point. And from about fall of like November of 2023 till I met you, I was doing enough on my own to kind of gain some function back. And then before I came to you, summer of 2025, I wanted to get some more endurance and function. So I started working with a PT, but he had me do all the wrong things. No assessments, the kind of stuff that you've mentioned in your videos with your intros and all that stuff of the traditional looking at things symmetrically, without any sort of assessment or baseline from which to operate from. That led to my back and my neck seizing up really bad. And that was about towards the end of August. And then I came to you mid-September. And that's when I started with you. That bad experience with the physical therapist is what jump-started me reaching out, researching and reaching out to you.
Yeah. And how's your body feeling right now versus before?
I want to say 100% there, but man, much, much, much different as far as ability to function, endurance, pain levels. Yeah, much different.
Yeah. And what's your pain level before versus right now?
Oh my gosh. My pain level before, when things were really bad, was probably anywhere from a 5 to an 8, depending on how bad the day was. And lately, if it's 3 at the worst I'd say about the last month.
That's great.
Yeah.
And also, I think after everything you tried before, I guess what's your mindset before joining the program? Were you pretty skeptical or?
Very skeptical because I had probably 6 to 8 PT clinics. I've had major surgery multiple times on the spine, and then all sorts of other procedures, steroid injections, radiofrequency ablation. I've been in a lot of doctors' offices, a lot of MRIs under the knife, and nothing. And then the PT people after doing this, and the hindsight being what it is, they just were never approaching it from the right way. They were flying blind and guessing. Without a treatment. The assessment based, asymmetrical approach that you have identifies the problem. And it's kind of like analogous to a mechanic. If a mechanic doesn't, if they just go in and look at an engine and start randomly trying to do stuff, they're never going to they'll fix the engine, but it'll take forever, right? Kind of the same idea. Until you're able to diagnose and have some sort of diagnostic process, you're flying blind. And that's what they were doing. They were flying blind.
That's tough. Now, I think since you mentioned like asymmetric training a couple of times, so what would you say the biggest difference between all the exercises we're doing versus everything you ever tried before?
Well, you just said it. It's the asymmetrical. Everything else was symmetrical. They were treating my left and right sides, whether it's my upper body, lower body, or arms or legs, as if they were equal and didn't have different types of dysfunction or range of motion or whatever. And yours did. And that was the first time that, as far as like hip internal rotation, my left being less than my right, that was never identified. That wasn't even ever broached. I never had anybody do any of those assessments. Yeah, it just makes sense. The assessments, the asymmetrical approach, and then having a plan curtailed or being based upon what you're seeing from the assessments. Hence, like the left side only micro stretching or movements or whatever you want to label them. That's what makes the difference, over the long haul too. And it's just, I think the biggest message after doing this, because I've been with you for, I don't know, a good 5 months, going to 5 months now, is any client coming in, and you've mentioned it on the school app and the videos and the whatnot, is you have to be patient with this. You have to give it time. Some people are faster than others. I get that. I'm probably on the slow end, but it was, for me personally, I think I remember it was probably about the 3.5 month mark when I really started to notice some sustained change, really sustained change. I mean, I noticed change along the way, but it was for me, it was about the 3.5 month mark when I noticed it. Now, granted, I had a lot of pre-existing conditions, so that might have factored into it, probably did. But I would just say patience, trust in the process, let the breathing do the work.
100%. And I
Yeah.
think since you mentioned breathing as well, how important is breathing in your entire journey? Because a lot of time, yeah, when people say, "Hey, Alvin, I don't really want to do the breathing exercise," like what would you want to tell them?
Dude, you got to rethink that because I was skeptical too. I think everybody is. I get why the yoga people and the Pilates people focus on it now. It makes sense because if you can't relax your body effectively, there's no change. So all those traditional stretches where it's too much too fast and you're not breathing, like you said, it just, there's temporary relief, but there's nothing sustained because the body doesn't understand that it doesn't need to, it's just protecting itself. I mean, I think that's until you started showing me the value and the importance of the breathing. And I would say I'm getting it solid, but I don't think I've mastered it yet. So I'm still like, I still am going to keep practicing until I feel like I've mastered it. And it just, that makes a difference because, you've said it in the videos and talk to you and stuff like that. It's one thing to be in the position. It's a second one thing to relax and then breathe effectively in these positions, which are going to be somewhat uncomfortable, especially when you're starting out with some back pain. It makes sense now, looking back and moving forward.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I won't ever approach exercise the same way again, especially with those exercises and breathing. Now it's just mastering the breathing, and I feel like I've got it solid, but I think in another 2 or 3 months, I think I'll have it pretty down consistently, where I'm breathing effectively 90+% of the time.
That's
Yeah.
great. And when you say you're not going to be able to approach any other exercise the same, what do you mean by that specifically?
Well, I think the beauty about your program is it's very individualized. So I have very unique circumstances, right? And so to try to just approach me with a generic template is yeah, of course that's why it hasn't worked. I mean, that they've tried to do that 6 to 8 times. I will always train, or exercise in a way that's unique to me as far as the breathing. I know my left side's a little always going to struggle to keep up with the right, just like with hip IR or leg strength. And I'm going to approach exercise that way. I mean, learning how to hip hinge properly was a game changer. There's just things I've noticed now is because I think my knowledge base has grown and I've been kind of, my eyes have been open to how my body's supposed to move and how it hasn't been with, these individualized problems that I have. And I think it's just reshaped how I've approached my body. And I will say, adding to it, because you're an advocate of the 5,000 steps a day sort of thing, because I have a step tracker. And since I started the program, I haven't walked that much in years. And so that alone has been a game changer as far as steps and just getting exercise and getting back into the groove is just, if you just do the program and trust the process and commitment and consistency is just the key. I mean, it really is. You just commit to the program and be consistent.
That's amazing. I'm
Yeah.
happy for you too.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, I think for somebody who's maybe listening or watching to this video right now, they're on the fence of a joining a program, but they're looking for a leg up. What will be your recommendations?
You probably may have had people with worse conditions in mind, but probably not many. And if you can give me this much progress with, I have 12 screws, 8 titanium brackets, 4 titanium discs, 2 wires, and electronic device in my spine, and you can get me in 5.5 months. And like I said, I still don't feel like I'm all the way, but I'm close. You can fix them. Or if I'm talking to someone else, Alvin can fix you. I mean, he really can. He can give you a lot of function back, you know. a lot of function, but you got to commit. You got to get out of the mindset of a quick fix because that's not how the body works. I mean, I spent it was combat sports. Spent 25 years being rough on my body, and then I got a lot back in just 5.5 months. I mean, think of it the ratio of looking at it like that. 25 plus years, a quarter century, being really rough on my body. 23 broken bones, all the surgeries, and then in 5.5 months, I probably restored 85% compared to where I was 5.5 months ago.
That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's a no brainer.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a no
I'm
brainer.
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I will. I mean, anybody that ever comes to me, I will send them your way. I mean, it's just like, dude, you gotta this guy. If other things haven't worked, you gotta try this guy out because he'll fix you. He'll fix you.
I appreciate it. I think that should be pretty much it. Anything else you want to add at the end?
Just 6.5 years ago, I had a life altering. I had fractured vertebra in the neck, so I had life altering surgery. That led to other surgeries and some degeneration and some noticeable degeneration in my spine. But I will say, back in September when I came to you, that the same life altering, there was a because I was pretty in a pretty dark hole. I mean, I was getting to the point where I was done fighting. I was getting close to like done fighting this because I just got this mentality because I've been a martial artist all my life. Like I just got to keep fighting for my quality of life. But it was getting hard. It was getting really disheartening. And then I started this program, and it's especially now in the short while later, it's done a 180. And so I'm just going to keep progressing with this asymmetrical style training and being more self aware with my body. And then it's empowering because if there's a flare up or something like that, you're equipped with some tools to mitigate that and then get going again. That's kind of another key that's important too.
Wow. I mean, like, I think I'm just really, really happy for you because, like, I think before we start, I know you're in a pretty rough place, but I didn't know it was this hard to actually before you join the program. So I'm glad we can make all those changes together.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that should be it for an interview.